Hi everyone and welcome to my review of Wes Craven's Scream 4 from 2011. So yes, we're back once again and this time around discussing the fourth entry in this franchise. And yes, I've been going through these films over the last few months, of course, and yes, exploring these films by Wes Craven, and this time around the fourth entry. And once again though, of course, a spoiler alert on this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first and then go back to this, and you can kind of rest easy because there will be a few plot points being discussed, in this, and I wouldn't kind of ruin, first time viewing for anyone watching this review. But yes, with all that said, let's dig in to my fairly brief thoughts, on this film, I guess, and just a few things to kind of say, and just to generally, express my thoughts, on this. And yes, my first, rewatch of this film. So yeah, only 2 times, I've ever seen this film. So very different to, my experiences with the original trilogy. I've seen, them films, especially the first, Scream film, many times, and it's a very different, kind of experience for me. This film here, Scream 4, and it's a very different film. We must say that. Of course, 15th anniversary, in this film of the Woodsboro, kind of massacre in that sense. So it's kind of, it does, in some ways, come call back to the first film, and it does make, some references, of course, and obviously the characters, Sydney, Dewey, and Gale, especially coming back to this film, from them. Those 3 films. So it does, kind of link in some things, and it does kind of make references to this original trilogy, but it is its own thing, and it's very unique, I guess, and it is separate, although you can kind of view it as well, as a member of the family in that sense, of this franchise, and at the time, obviously, Scream 3 did wrap up the trilogy, and really, if a film had never been made after that, it would have made sense. But having said that, I'm not complaining. That we're getting more as well now, and coming, and of course this film exists because it is, it's great to see another Scream film, and you can kind of separate it. We've got that nice kind of really consistent and to me legendary trilogy, the original 3, and then we have more films coming, and one of course already out being Scream 4. So yes, a very different film, and of course. Yeah, it's just a film, when it came out, I saw it very soon after it came out, and I didn't dislike the film, but, I was very unsure of how to react, I guess, to different elements of this film, and I guess, at the time as well, I was definitely, underwhelmed with the visuals of the film, and just the kind of the feeling, and a few things, the plot twists, of course, Jill being revealed as, the killer of the film, she... certainly, that character kind of reveal there had me a bit kind of. I was unsure of how to feel about this, and her being, again once again related to Sydney, and I just found it to be. I was unsure of this film, and I didn't dislike the film necessarily. Just didn't really, kind of. Know my full thoughts on this film. So yes, rewatching it, it's great to kind of solidify, I guess, my thoughts on this film. And this time round, I really like this film, and it really has grown on me. And this time round, yes, once again, a worthy entry, to this franchise. So yes, so far, 4 films in, and for me, very consistent, franchise. Of course, Scream 1, is just a legendary film, especially, but none of these films are bad, and some would say, I guess that Scream 3 is bad, and perhaps Scream 2. I would definitely disagree personally, and I respect, of course. There are different opinions on these films, but I don't think any of these films, are lesser. No, and I think really, each film is very unique, and kind of commenting on different things. In the genre, in the actual industry itself, and just kind of fun films in their own right. And this time around, we have this, kind of a comment on remakes, and I guess once again a whodunit, this kind of comedy horror, slasher, I guess romance as well, in there as well, and yes, kind of thriller film. But once again, yes, we have this kind of. Calling back to this original trilogy, and how we see these different characters many years on, and how how they've kind of developed and you know, where they are, kind of thing. And of course, we have these this new batch, I guess, of characters, and you know, with Jill being one of them, and of course, you know, Kirby as well. You know, and different characters like that, and you know, we have this kind of group of characters, of course, younger. Characters, and then we have the original kind of core three, I guess, you know, kind of coming back, and we see, yes, Courtney Cox, you know, playing, of course, Gale, and Dewey as well, being played by David Arquette, and finally, you know, in this film, they are actually married, you know, these two characters, so yes, that is great. That's one of the things, you know, seeing it again, kind of, I really loved, and you know, seeing that they have, you know, gotten married, and yes, Sydney, once again, you know, is back, and she kind of, you know, has written this book since, and you know, she is this kind of respected individual in that sense, and yeah, it's very nostalgic. Some moments in this film, you know, first, and you know, seeing the interactions, I guess, between Sydney and Gale and Dewey, it's really nice, and just really, once again, Neve Campbell, you know, is great in this film, and I think it's great that, you know, she kind of, you know, I guess she's not, you know, as focused on in this film, and you know, even in Scream 3 in some regards, but she is still, you know, the kind of the original character, the main kind of protagonist of the first, and once again, I love how they respect the character of Sydney, and you know, how they kind of weave her into the narrative, I guess, even though perhaps, you know, at first she's not, you know, kind of introduced as, you know, the core character of this film. You know, we have new characters, as I say, but you know, she's so kind of central to the experience of all of these films, and that is great. And this film really does respect, you know, the kind of origins of this franchise, and you know, I guess it's again very, very different as well, and kind of unique. And you know, it's not a film that, yes, kind of once again, you know, repeats, I guess. Scream 3, you know, although, you know, it's very, you know, similar in some regards, I guess, you know, although very, very different as well, because that was, you know, a conclusion, and this one, once again, is kick-starting the franchise, but yes, you know, it's a very fascinating film, you know, how it's kind of, yes, touching in with these characters, just seeing this kind of relationship between Dewey and Gale, once again, and how, you know, he has kind of, you know, progressed, you know, in his occupation, and we have, you know, different other characters as well, potentially, you know, causing, you know, friction, tension between him and Gale, but it's great, you know, that they're kind of, once again, kind of focusing on quite a bit, you know, this relationship, and you know, this, you know, kind of love story was definitely one of my favourite elements, you know, especially, you know, of Scream 2 and 3, of course, and you know, it's great to see once again these characters returning, and you know, really warm interactions, and you know, just some really heartwarming yes moments with Sydney and Gale and Dewey, and it's just great to see this, and how things, yes, have developed since you know, the previous films, and it does a great job in kind of bringing this back, and you know, kind of touching with these characters, and seeing how they have developed, while also being, you know, this kind of really compelling, you know, I guess, story with these new characters, and we have, in the end, though, a very fascinating thing, you know, being Jill Roberts, of course, being revealed as, you know, the killer, and you know, due to, of course, jealousy, you know, and this kind of obsession with Sydney and you know, her fame, basically, and also tying in, I guess, you know, this kind of the way in which we have this portrayal of, you know, social media and the internet, I guess, and just kind of tying that into how Sydney is this famous character, and these, you know, kind of the ways in which she's viewed, and you know, I guess, you know, how Jill is perceiving that, and you know, she, as she says, you know, the kind of way in which she grew up in relation to this, and being a member of the family, she of course is Sydney's cousin, and you know, it's a very interesting way in which you know, Wes Craven, of course, and you know, Kevin Williamson, you know, of course, once again, Kevin Williamson writing this film, so we have finally him back. Of course, he was absent for Scream 3, and I did say, you know, the writing in that film was very different to the other films in the franchise, and once again, we have this kind of, I feel personally, more grounded and accurate portrayal of these characters, the original, you know, kind of characters of the trilogy, and it's great to see this, and you know, certainly welcomed return, you know, from, you know, Kevin Williamson, for him to kind of return, and once again Wes Craven, but this time around we must say, very, very sadly, this is the final film that Wes Craven directed, and it's a very, very sad, fact, of course, because a few years on, from this film, he did unfortunately very tragically pass away, and it's very, very sad to me because he really he was a great, great filmmaker, and he was one of them, at least horror filmmakers, who really defined my childhood and made it so much better. And seeing, of course, the original trilogy, Scream films, and especially as well Nightmare on Elm Street, and of course he did direct, the original, and of course New Nightmare. But he did, yes, just his presence was felt, throughout these films, the entire franchise, because he did, of course, he directed the original, and just kickstarting this franchise, and in that sense responsible for all those that followed, and so many films technically that he was kind of involved in slash influenced, and I guess really many films that I saw as a kid, and just loved, and it's been great to kind of go back and watch these again, and once again real shame to kind of when I heard this news, a few years ago, I was very, very sad, and just a tribute, of course, once again to Wes Craven. But he directs this film so well, and I think it's definitely a worthy film, for him to kind of, I guess, go out on, and it makes sense as well because the Scream films are very much. I guess a big part of his filmography, and he really outdone himself with the first Scream film, and just once again directing 2, 3, and 4, and he done such a great job at times with this film as well. I really like the direction in this, and just the way in which he's kind of commenting on different kind of elements, along with, of course, Kevin Williamson, and it's great to kind of see these comments, this kind of commentary, really kind of compelling at times, kind of enjoyable, I guess, newcomers to this film, and I really liked, especially Kirby, and played by Hayden, Panettiere. Kirby, a really good character, and a very enjoyable performance, and yes, just as well, Rory Culkin, of course, playing Charlie. Those were the two kind of newcomers that I really I liked the most, I guess, and it's a shame that for example, Kirby did not kind of make it into the next entry, because of course it could have been recurring characters again, like of course Sydney, Dewey, and Gale, from the previous films, but I guess not. I guess not, and that's a shame. But yes, just I really liked kind of and appreciated the way in which the final act kind of wrapped up, and it was very different as well to the previous films, their final acts, and it's a very different ending as well. You could say kind of abrupt, and it's a very, it's a very different ending. It's not this kind of massive, like, for example, Scream 2 or 3 kind of ending, in that sense. It's just a one that is very much, it has some things that happen in the final scenes that are, I guess, conclusive, and kind of leave you thinking about the next entry, where that will go. But it's definitely very kind of abrupt as well at the same time. And once again, I kind of forgot exactly where the film ended, and it was very surprising. But yes, just seeing this final act, it's definitely very compelling, and it doesn't kind of lose its the investment really at all in that final act, and very kind of shocking and intense kind of moments of violence in this film, and it's a really once again a real kind of heavy kind of just gritty film, like the first entry. And I guess the one thing about this film, in that sense, though, it's definitely not as good as the previous films. I don't like it as much as the visuals. Once again, I did kind of respond to this in this way, I guess. The first time I watched this film, as I say, and I have kind of grown to appreciate the cinematography a bit more, the visuals, and just the editing as well. But I still don't really kind of I still prefer, I guess, the original trilogy, the cinematography, and I think this film here, in that sense as well, not just comparing it, but it is kind of a bit, the colours are a bit murky, I guess, and there is this kind of coldness to this, this film, the way it's shot, just for my liking, the kind of the coolness to this, in the colours and just the lighting and I guess just the actual texture of this film. It's a bit, it doesn't quite compare to the originals. Certainly not, the first two films. Having said that, I really like the kind of the editing to this. It's very very sharp and effective. Just this flow as well. The way in which this narrative unfolds. Once again, Wes Craven really wonderfully directing this film at times, and it's just the way in which this film is structured. I appreciate how it is kind of similar to the previous films, but it is very different as well, and it's kind of this surprising film at times, and especially the final act. But of course, we have as well, the opening. I briefly mentioned, it's very funny as well, and I guess it's kind of commenting on how many this time around sequels there can be in said franchise, not just being a direct sequel and the relationship between that and an original film, but just in general, I guess kind of sequels and remakes. It's just a very affectionate kind of comment on that. Once again, these comments and these kind of these themes that are explored in these films, in this kind of this parody form and satire is definitely always affectionate, I find, with these films, and also kind of very interesting as well. Of course, this mainly focusing on the kind of remake format and how it relates to an original film, and very very interesting indeed. And yes, I just look forward to the next entry as well, and seeing where this franchise will go, and who knows what will happen next, kind of thing. And it's a shame, of course, Wes Craven will not be directing. It's a very it's a deep shame. Very tragic that he is no longer with us, of course. But regardless of who is directing, I do look forward to seeing this this next entry, and seeing how it compares, I guess, to these films. And yes, I don't really have too many slights, in that sense. I guess this is not a film that is great for me personally, and there are some things, yes, here and there that don't work, that well in comparison to, of course, the first two Scream films. And I guess, it's a very good film. It's not a great one. It's not this kind of legendary film, but it is a film that's kind of grown on me, and one that I do really appreciate now. And it's a really fun film, very very well shot, at times, and just the way in which this is kind of brought together by Wes Craven and of course Kevin Williamson, it's just so commendable, and it's this unique entry, saying a few different things this time around. Just I guess how there are many different entries to a franchise potentially, and it's definitely a bit of a different comment to Scream 3 and 2, but it's definitely kind of in this similar vein of this affectionate and kind of sincere, I guess, comment on the industry and just films in general, cinema, of course. And yes, very commendable and very just a fun film. Really some really kind of exciting moments, and just cool kind of dispatches in this film, kills, of course, and just a very kind of at times this is definitely a scary film, and it's this kind of disturbing film at times, and just the way in which certain characters kind of react in this film, and of course that reveal with Jill being the killer, and very disturbing and twisted, kind of the way in which this pans out, of course, with Jill. And Emma Roberts is definitely, she gives a good performance as well, and I really like how this is really disturbing once again, and again it does kind of it's similar to the third entry where we have, of course, that I'm not going to say, but yes, that kind of reveal there, but once again it's very different, and I do appreciate this film on the second watch a lot more than the first watch. So yes, that's my kind of general thoughts on this film. As for the rating, for me it's an 80%. Once again, the same as the third entry, and I guess I'm not going to say which I prefer yet. In fact, I'm kind of debating in my mind what I prefer out of those two films, and it's just very different, of course, to that film. But I think generally, kind of the same in overall quality. There's some things I prefer about 3, and there's some things I prefer about this, and it's just this a very different film to 3. But they're definitely not as good for me as the original, especially. So yes, just a very kind of enjoyable film, and it's really kind of this worthy entry once again to this franchise, and also leaving it open to to kind of sequels to this film, and obviously we do have the next film coming as well next year, I believe. Hopefully that will come next year anyway, and yes, just I look forward to seeing that. And once again, a tribute to Wes Craven, his final film, and it's a very sad occurrence. He's no longer with us, making films. But he left his his legacy. What a great filmmaker! Truly one that I look up to, and really I'm thankful to once again for making so many films that I love, and just have enjoyed over the years. And once again, this is definitely a very commendable film, and it's really sad kind of occurrence, as I say. But really, once again, hats off to Wes Craven, his final film, and one that I really enjoy and appreciate this time round, and certainly a film that I'd recommend, of course, to fans of the genre, slashers and horror films, of course, and just being my second watch, it's very interesting to see this again, and how. Certainly, I like this a lot more than my first time round. But I look forward to seeing this again. Over the years, and just yes, proud to kind of have this on Blu-ray finally, and just a very enjoyable and commendable and disturbing, atmospheric slasher film. So yes, that's my thoughts, on this film, and just it'd be great to hear your thoughts on this film and this franchise. Of course, 4 films to discuss, and yes, if you're interested, of course, check out I've got a playlist, of Wes Craven, reviews and stuff, on this channel. So yes, the last few months, once again, I have been, kind of going through the Scream films, and a few months before that, it was, of course, the A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So yes, Wes Craven directed the first and the 7th entry, in those films, and he did just write as well the 3rd entry. So yes, just check out them if you're interested, and to celebrate Wes Craven, of course, and discuss his films, and just I look forward to hearing your thoughts, and yes, just to kind of discuss these films, in a general sense, and specifically to discuss this film, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts, because I'm always interested, hearing reactions to this film, especially because I had I was unsure of this film at first, and now I've kind of really come to really like this film. So it's very interesting to me to hear your thoughts on this, and perhaps your first experience of this film. It'd be great to know, and just yes, always enjoy our conversations in the comments. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.